In video 6, we journeyed with reason into the Hall of Truth. It wasn't about faith or tradition. It wasn't about scripture. If you followed the line of reasoning we've been taking honestly, then you saw that moral obligation refuses to collapse into chemistry. You also saw that meaning doesn't evaporate, and that agency requires real opposition for it to exist. You saw that accountability is affixed to real choice. It naturally follows our choices. This journey hasn't been about theology. It's been about following careful reasoning. And careful reasoning has led us to a place that was unavoidable. If agency is real, and it is, if meaning is real, and it is, if obligation is real, and it is, then reality itself must be structured in such a way that it actually supports and sustains these features of reality. Hello, my name is Martin Braden, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Dispelling the Accusatory Fog. This is video 7 of the series of videos I'm doing for 2026 that I titled Faith, Reason, and the Search for Truth. If this is your first time watching one of the videos from this series, I would encourage you, after watching today's video, that you go back to the beginning so you can get caught up with the other 6 videos. They're all pretty short. They're designed to build on one another, each one covering the arguments Richard Dawkins presented in his book, The God Delusion, and the reasoning of the arguments I gave in response to them. In today's video, I want to slow things down a bit and ask you something personal. If you remember, at the end of video 6, I asked you to ask yourself a question before you moved on to video 7 when it went live. Here's the question I wanted you to ask yourself. Why do you feel morally accountable? I said I would begin to answer that question in video 7, which is what I'll be doing today in this video. For those of you who haven't watched video 6, it was a discussion that you and I had with reason, as reason led us up to and through the doors of the Hall of Truth, which is where we are now. From our journey together, as we've followed reason, we had confirmed to us that all of us feel accountable, not just regretful, but accountable. And that's different from regret. Regret is about consequences. Accountability is about standards. Conscience does not invent the rules or the law. It recognizes them. It awakens you to them. It bears witness to something that feels already present in us. Opposition makes your choices meaningful. Agency gives them weight, and accountability then follows. And it feels binding, like something real is at stake. For example, take a moment to think of something small you did, a harsh word, a selfish choice you made. Now remember what you thought to yourself after you made that choice. It was probably something like, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Let me ask you, who told you that? Who enforced it? Maybe no one did it, and yet you felt it. It wasn't inconvenience that made you say that. It wasn't embarrassment. It was ought that directed you to think or say to yourself, that was wrong. You didn't invent that standard. You ran into it. It simply showed up and you were confronted by it, independent of yourself, right? This feeling you're feeling is moral experience, and it feels measured. When someone commits cruelty, you don't say, well, that's their preference. You say, that shouldn't have happened. That word should carries authority, and authority requires grounding. Preference, on the other hand, feels light when compared to moral obligation, which feels heavy. As reason takes us further into the Hall of Truth, we discover opposition is built right into reality itself. Without alternatives confronting every decision we make, there is no real choice, and without real choice, there's no accountability. Now, I'll come back to this later on in this video series. Just make note of it, that you and I experience both. You don't invent gravity. You discover it. You also don't break it. You confirm it. For example, imagine you were to jump off a 5-story building. You wouldn't be breaking gravity. You'd be confirming it. This is also true of mathematics. You don't invent mathematics. You discover it. And this is why I'm suggesting to you that you don't invent moral obligation either. Like gravity, mathematics, opposition, agency, physics, and every other law we've discovered, all of them are embedded in the universe itself, which is the structure called reality. If moral authority binds you and you didn't create it, then I'm suggesting that it must rest on something deeper and bigger than you and I. You feel the ought strongly, right? Chemistry can describe what happens in your brain, but it cannot command you. And then there's matter itself. Matter manifests as being real and tangible. It's everywhere. Every particle, even a pile of stones shown in this symbolic image, carries energy or light because it's foundational to existence itself. But it, that which we call matter, does not prescribe what ought to be. It too is bound to it. It is accountable to something. This image also implies that materialism should be honored for what it has given us. But we must remember that it also has been weighed and been shown to be insufficient. And that's because it doesn't issue, or should I say, cannot issue any oughts. These pillars are not memorials. They're symbolic images of the foundations that help support the Hall of Truth. Opposition, agency, accountability. Each of these rises from the structure of reality itself. Conscience does not create them. It bears witness to them. There have been many times in my life when no one else knew what I had done. No one saw it, and so no one punished me. And yet, I felt it. Some of us humans try to justify many of our choices, or we try to hide them or run away from them. But you and I both know that that approach to this felt accountability does not work. That quiet weight of guilt is always there, living in our knowers. Sometimes it even manifests as shame, not because we were caught, but because we knew. Our knowers knew. If moral authority is real, and I and reason are saying it is, and if it is built into reality itself, then what kind of reality sustains it? Not what theory explains it, but what reality grounds it. If law is real and binding, reality is not morally silent, which we've all come to know through the lived experiences of our lifetime. We are not where we can name the source that grounds it yet, but we are no longer pretending there isn't one. If moral authority is real, and if it is built right into the structure of reality and truth itself, then the question isn't whether you feel accountable anymore. You do. The real question now is, why does it feel like it's addressed to you? Why does accountability feel so personal? Why does it carry authority, not suggestion? As I've said several times throughout the first 6 videos, chemistry can describe what fires in our brains. Matter can describe what exists. But neither chemistry or matter can look at you and say, you ought to do this and you ought to do that. And yet we feel ought strongly, don't we? Well, having established that verity, in video 8 I want to go one step deeper into our journey with Mr. Reason. I want you to ask yourself a new question. If moral authority binds you, what kind of grounding could possibly sustain that authority? Is it abstract, impersonal, or are we moving closer to something or someone? If you haven't already subscribed to my channel and clicked on the like button and the notification bell, you might miss when video 8 goes live, where I'll be answering those questions. So watch for it. Its title is, Why Does Accountability Feel So Personal? In video 8, we'll be covering not just that accountability exists, but why it feels addressed to you, why it feels like it's so personal and it's looking at you, while it feels like it comes from somewhere and is grounded in lived reality. So until next time, I wish you continued success. Goodbye. God bless you. Love you.